Do you feel sad? Do you feel shameful? Do you feel like you aren't loved? Do you feel like no one cares about you? Do you feel as if you were better off dead? Are you like driving home at night from your shitty job at the pizza place and driving down the highway? You see a truck coming the other way. You're like, if I just turn that wheel like 12 degrees this way, it'll all be over. It happens. It's probably a little too common than it should be today, but that's good because it means you aren't alone, right? And to some degree, you're right about all of it. You're not really going to find anyone that you can 100% trust. You're not going to find typically the things that you think you want in people, you know. And when you do, it's usually something will be disappointed, or you'll be disappointed somehow eventually. But there's two sides to everything, and I believe that's a good thing because it allows for different perspectives, and you can learn from a lot of different stuff. Now, my point of going into all that in the beginning of this video was because for the last couple weeks, that's been how I felt. For probably actually a lot longer than that. But over the past weeks, it's really kind of come crumbling down on me. And, you know, shame and guilt and anger are really powerful emotions. A quick lesson for, like, motivation is, here's the discomfort of, say, meditation. Here's the discomfort of playing, well, here's the discomfort of meditation. Here's the discomfort of video games. All right? Because we do things based on comfort and convenience. So, in order to, when we have shame or guilt, the discomfort's even lower than meditation or like working out or like, working out, meditation, different stuff, all different little good habits, healthy habits. It's a lot lower than all of those. So it makes those things easy to do, right? That's how you, so if you want to motivate yourself, make meditation and the good habits as easy and convenient as possible while taking video games, getting more awareness about what it's doing to your body, getting more awareness about like jerking off and porn and what it's doing to you as a person. Having more awareness about that will give you more guilt and shame, which will bring the activity lower and lower until the good habits start to seem more like a reward or like the obvious option, right? And then when you do pick this, you'll feel shitty. You'll feel like shame and guilt, and you'll feel horrible about it. And honestly, rightfully so, because it's a shitty thing to do. Or at least how most people do them. There's not really a right way to do it because it's all distracting yourself from life and, a mission. But that's a complete side tangent. Okay. The whole reason I wanted to do this video was because I have been feeling, suicidal and stuff lately. Actually, for the past couple months. I don't know if I've actually been feeling suicidal, but I've definitely been thinking about it a lot. In terms of like actually trying to commit it, I've gotten close to driving off the road. Like I've gotten halfway off the road and then of course, stopped. Because thinking about like, honestly, no, that's not it. Maybe I'm just looking for attention. I'm not sure. It's, I'd like to think that's not the case, but realistically, we all want attention. We're all attention starved in this day and age, but yet we show ourselves no attention. And that is the purpose of this exercise that I'm about to share with you. So in Alex Hormozi's book, $100 Million Offers, he goes over a system that he uses to help get gyms clients, right? And help them better their offers, help them add more value to what they're offering, so that way people will buy it. Because if you add more value to it, people don't mind paying a higher price. You know, there's a lot more that goes into this, but it's kind of irrelevant, so I'm not going to go over it. That's a whole different video. But say you have a customer that wants to get a 10 out of 10 body, right? From the customer's perspective, or you know what? No, set that goal for yourself and think, why can't I get a 10 out of 10 body? Okay, well, you'll start listing off stuff, and this isn't the right page, but you know what? I'll use it for my my example. Okay, so self-improvement. Why I can't, and then a little frowny face. And I put in the bulleted list, not enough time, not motivated, not disciplined, too complicated, don't know where to start. And you see, those two kind of sound interchangeable, but really it's not, because when people think about this stuff, they think about them exactly like I've listed it out. It's a cognitive bias of bullet listing everything and making the list seem a lot longer than it is. And it's a form of bias, right? So don't know where to start, work a job, too young, no support, no friends or anything that are in the same kind of, pathway, no money, strict parents, maybe, like family obligations. Maybe you've already tried it and it didn't work. Maybe you don't like to read, and there's a lot of reading and self-improvement. Okay? I'm shy, low self-esteem, no confidence, I'm stuck, or I'm sick. Maybe you have a disease, or you have low self-worth. All right, so some of the fixes. Go through this list for yourself. For whatever your problem is, it doesn't matter. List off why you can't do it or why you think you can't do it. Make the list as long as possible. All right? You don't have to do it while you're thinking about it, because it might seem like you'll be sitting there for a long time, which you might at most be sitting there 10 minutes, but your head might start hurting. So you can go take a break and eat like a peanut butter jelly sandwich or some shit. Right? But I go on a walk or something, but when you come back, look at each of those bullet points. Now ask, how can I? If, right? So, in my case, self-improvement. I've been on self-improvement for a while now, so I feel like it's kind of irrelevant, but I wanted to, I actually made this list for you guys. So, these are some common reasons why people might not get on self-improvement. And honestly, each one of these makes a good YouTube title. Like, if you wanted to find a way to get like 20 ideas for a YouTube channel, literally just make one of these lists, right? And each one of them are their own separate video, right? And because that's how the human mind works about the little bullet stacking, it might seem repetitive, and I actually see that on YouTube a lot. They seem repetitive from a lot of my favorite creators, or one of my favorite creators, but I think this might be like the kind of system he uses. Right, so, I don't know, I thought that was a cool connection I made. It probably means nothing to you, but, okay. So, an example of how you would say, how can I? So you've got your whole bullet list, right? Of why you can't. Now, flip it around and say, how can I do self-improvement if I don't have enough time? How can I do self-improvement if I'm not disciplined? How can I do self-improvement if I've already tried it. How can I not do self-improvement if I don't like to read? Well, you don't have to read to do self-improvement, right? There's tons of alternatives. If you have a supportive girlfriend or family, you probably aren't watching this video, but you know, they could read to you. There's Audible. There's a bunch of like book reading services. There's book summary services that I've heard about. You know, you can just read like a few page summary of an entire book. You could have it read out to you, you know, text to speech. There's so many options nowadays. So that's just a couple of the fixes. Or you could start reading slow stuff that you're interested in whenever you have like a thing in mind that comes to mind, a topic that comes to mind. Go find a book on it. It doesn't matter what it is. Go find a book on it and start reading it. Right? And another thing, I'll do another video on this, but how you read. Only read what you're interested in. Don't read a book like, you know, like turning pages and shit like that, like cover to cover. That's kind of useless. In this situation especially, because if you don't like to read, then being bored like that's just going to enforce you not reading. But no, in the case of you feeling like no one loves you, like you're not cared about, like you don't deserve to be cared about, right? So I'll share my list. Okay? My list is why I cannot be loved. Alright? I don't have a 10 out of 10 body. I am not successful. I lack financial freedom. I lack time freedom. I am toxic to be around. I am not trustworthy. I'm young. I am amateur. I am an amateur. Yeah. I am unintelligent in many ways. I have emotional thoughts. I am mean to those around me. I am stubborn. And I have a neurotic obsession with attention. Alright? So then I started working through them. How to be loved if you don't have a 10 out of 10 body. And I wrote, work on it. Go to the gym. Walks. Diet. And then on another point, I put dress it up. Dress well, clean, and in a way that complements your body. The body that you currently have. There's how many options of clothing out there now? Right? There's how many ways to make you feel good about yourself? Yeah, that's temporary distraction, but that little boost of confidence can go a long ways when you're trying to work on yourself. And if it keeps you consistent with the actual things that will change over time, which is going to the gym, walking, and dieting, or not dieting, but just improving your eating habits overall, which I can do a separate video on because I struggled with a lot of eating disorders in the past. Just let me know what you guys want. Actually, it doesn't matter. I'm doing it regardless. But yeah, how to be loved if I'm not successful. Make progress towards being successful. Make progress towards goals. Sacrifice instant gratification for delayed gratification. Change/update philosophy of that to a successful person. You know? So, if you've been, and the beautiful thing about this is if you're watching this right now, you probably care about yourself and about improving yourself and about becoming a better person. So, you're already on self-improvement. Alright? Whether it's the very early stages or it's your intermediate, you have some level of discomfort with being the way that you are, and that's good. I'm happy for you, because it's this awareness and discomfort that'll bring you to a greater fulfillment and closer to your goals and what you personally hope to achieve. Okay? Now, rather than... Hold on, let me get my thoughts in order real quick. What was I saying? Jeez. The beautiful thing about this is that if you've been on it for a while and you're somewhat intermediate, you've already likely done some of this stuff. So in my case, I'm looking at this and I'm developing a sense of pride. Like, I'm already starting to be cheered up. We've discovered the problem, and rather than letting it run through our minds like repetitively and thinking of like mindless solutions and thinking up negative thoughts and just keeping them clustered up here, thinking that there's no way I can solve them, we're putting them down on a paper, discovering the actual problem, and then we're saying, how do we fix the problem? Which is a step that almost no one takes, right? They'll just leave it in their mind, and they'll just, they'll just fuck around with it for however long and be more depressed. And then they'll get distracted later when the guilt and shame kind of wears off and they get attention from someone again, right? But the underlying issue is still there. So nothing was fixed. And B, when you work on this, or when you've been on the self-improvement for a while, in my case, how to be loved if you don't have a 10 out of 10 body. Work on it, go to the gym, which I do, go on walks, which I do. I go on full fucking hikes, like every day, and diet, which I do. Well, I just corrected my eating habits, but still, it's the same thing. So you guys, that's two ways that you can get better just by doing this practice, right? Or you can feel better just by doing this practice. You'll feel like you're working towards a better resolution, and you'll feel as if you've already been doing some of this stuff, you'll realize, holy shit, I've been doing some of this, and you'll be somewhat grateful for yourself, for your past self, for the things that you've done for yourself. And that's really powerful. This exercise has really helped me in a lot of ways, and this is only the second time that I've done it, right? I thought this was like an impossible situation that I'd never get out of, but I took the whole thing with this exercise is problem solving, right? I got it out of a financial book, like a sales book, but it's problem solving. It's basic fundamental problem solving, and it's applicable to anything in life, and that's so powerful. Being able to there's so many good ideas and systems out there that can be applied to so many different situations and philosophies and different ideas that can unlock different areas of wealth for you. That's what I want this channel to be dedicated to exploring. If you don't know where to go from here, if you get done watching this and you want to learn more about philosophy, you want to learn more about life, you want to learn more about just general self-improvement, go look up like lectures from someone like Jim Rohn, or just find some sort of, I'm not even sure how to say it. Just go. Don't even look up anything right now. Honestly, just until you do this exercise, like, turn off YouTube. Like, right? Just don't. You might think, oh yeah, I'm gonna do it, later. But no, grab a fucking pencil, grab a notebook like this, or just a notebook, a piece of paper, the back of a receipt or something, and write it down. Okay? And while you're at it, write down a list of your goals, because that's important too. But if you haven't already, okay. That's another video though. I think I've exhausted this topic, so I'll see you guys later. I gotta finish reading this book for school, and then I gotta hike home, so yeah. Please make sure you do this thing. It will help you tenfold, alright? You guys take care. Bye-bye.